Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to pop in today as a kind of a mid-month check-in because it's been a little while since I posted anything. So, hello. Hello, darling. Coco wanted to say hello. She wants to check in too. Okay. As a mid-month check-in, just to kind of catch up with what I've been reading, what's been going on. I've been doing a lot of teaching lately and a little bit of writing, so it's been really busy around here, around where I live. And teaching gets really busy at the end of the year because we are wrapping everything up, right? We are doing tests and stuff, so. But you don't care about that. You want to know what I've been reading. That's what you watch while you're here. So, I have continued to read the complete poems of Emily Dickinson. I really loved what I've read so far. Some of these poems have really resonated with me. I really loved the way that they are connected to nature. And I love this poem called If I Should Die. It's very beautiful. If I should die and you should live and time should gurgle on and morn should beam and moon should burn as it has usually done. If birds should build an early and bees dispersely go, one might depart at option from enterprise below. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And she's talking about like how to deal, like if she dies first, what she wants to happen, like what she knows is going to happen. So it's a very interesting read. And I really love that. I really love all her themes are very deep with the beautiful descriptions of nature and things like that. So, next on my list that I have been reading, let me set up you know what? Next, I have been reading Middlemarch. Middlemarch is a wonderful novel that is about a town called Middlemarch that is a fictional English town, and it is written by a woman under the pen name of George Eliot. And I didn't know that when I first picked this up, so that's really interesting. I thought that's great. And also, it has some very interesting themes around what's expected of women, what men would expect of women. And there's characters in here, and kind of subverts tropes, right? The trope that we see in a lot of Regency novels of the plain girl getting the man because she's smart and she's nice and she's useful and things like that, and that's most that's what's valued from them if they're not like beautiful. And then we have a character in here, Dorothea, who is very practical to the point to where she's not even thinking about her own life, her own happiness. She's like sinking everything into marrying this older man who is a writer, and she's kind of helping him without thinking about her own pursuits, and how that is starting to make her miserable, even though she thought that was the moral thing to do for a woman. So it has some very interesting themes in here. And there's a character, Mary, who is the plain Jane. All her other friends, she thinks all of her friends are more beautiful than her, and she complains about it and things like that, and she's not very nice. So we're going to see how that trope is subverted because she's plain, but she's also not very nice. So we're going to see how that ends up in the story, because I think that's a very interesting way of going about it, because she's a very different character, right? Because she's plain, but she's not like that you would expect from a heroine, right? The heroine, like, oh, I'm not as pretty as the other girls, but it turns out, oh, she is pretty, and she is smart and useful and nice, and everyone loves her, right? That's not this. Her friends are even telling her, it's like, Mary, dial it down. You're hurting yourself. It's very interesting to see that kind of those tropes kind of subverted. So, what did I Another thing that I'm reading is Ship of Magic. Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. And Robin Hobb, I've never read a Robin Hobb novel before. And Robin Hobb, I am loving every word of Ship of Magic, which is the book I'm reading of hers. And Ship of Magic is about a family of sailors who they own a ship, a live ship, because they're sentient ships. It's family drama, sentient ships, and pirates all in the same novel, which is really interesting. I love it. And so we have a family that owns a ship and does trade and owns land and things like that, and it's the business side of it. And then there's also what's going on this live ship, this ship that is supposed to become alive. Like, they have their own personalities and things like that. They can even go mad. And so it's very interesting to see the dynamic between this family has a lot of drama going on. They're horrible to each other. And then we have the ship and what's going on with the live ships and things like that. And so I think it's very, very cool. And I think that I'm very interested to see how this goes. I'm 200 pages in on that one, not finished, but I'm really loving it. The language is beautiful. The characters are interesting. And I think it really brings across the themes very well of that they're going for. There's also economics in there, like how the economics of the world works, which makes the world building beautiful. And I love the world building in this. It's very well thought out. It's very meticulous, and nothing is left unexplored. And the descriptions of this world is phenomenal. Like, you feel like you really know this world and its characters very well. Like, you feel like when you think back into the book, you're like, oh, I know this place. It's very familiar. And I love that when an author can do that. George R.R. Martin does that with his, like, you think into his world and you know it's his world. And with Tolkien does that too. When you get into Middle Earth, you know you're in Middle Earth. And in the Live Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, that definitely has that. And the character work is also amazing. You have characters that you hate. Which does a good job making you hate them. And she has characters that you love. But even the characters that you hate, you have moments where you sympathize with them. You have moments where you see their point of view a little bit. And it's kind of disarming. It's just like, oh, I thought I hated them, but I'm kind of feeling for them right now. So I think that's a great way to write characters. And I think she's amazing. Everyone told me that her character work is amazing and her world building is amazing. And now I believe it. It's 100% true. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to talk more about that when I finish the first book, and talk about if I'm going to continue the series, things like that, in another video. But so far, so good. Really, really, really love it. Okay. What I finished this month was The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This book was a chunker, and I'm proud that I got it done before the halfway mark of the month. But it was very interesting. I loved the story. The plot was really interesting. The first 200 pages, I couldn't put it down. It did start to drag a little bit in some parts in the middle, and then the end kind of went into weird directions, and I didn't quite know if I understood what was happening, what was supposed to be going on. But it finally did kind of come together at the end, and it was still a little weird, but I really enjoyed it. It's very much a revenge story. It starts out with a young man who has everything to look forward to. He has a wonderful new position on the ship. He has a fiance that he's in love with, who is in love with him. They're going to get married. He has a wonderful life all planned out, right? He has a wonderful father that he loves and taken care of. And it all gets ripped away from him. I won't tell you how, but it all gets ripped away from him. And this book is about how he gets revenge on the people who did it, and tries to get parts of his life back. So it's a very good book. I highly recommend it. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars, just because 4.5, because as I said, some of the ending was I felt a little contrived, and I thought that the middle part kind of dragged a bit. I didn't feel like I understood quite everything that was going on, like how this was quite working, but I did get it eventually, and I did enjoy it. But I think my enjoyment started to dip a little bit the further we got in until the very end. So that's why I got 4 stars, but it's still a very, very good book. I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually looking forward to watching an adaptation of this. I've never seen one, so I'm looking forward to that, because I think it would be very great in a visual medium. I think it would be a good something, a feast for the eyes, to say. It would be fun. All right, so that's what I finished. I also finished an audiobook of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and by, who is the author? Who is the author of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow? I am not sure, but anyway, I will put the book up here, and with the author, I can't remember off the top of my head. I listened to it on an audiobook. It was a very, very good, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. It's set in the 1980s, during the beginning of the game consoles in the in the United States, and where Nintendo came out, and it talks about these two friends who became friends over gaming, because they were both in a hospital setting at that time, and how it got them out of their problems, and then they decide later on, they become good friends, and they decide to make a game together, and it's about the creation, being an artist and creator, and how much art reflects life, and their different stories that they tell, and how it reflects their real life, and things like that. There's drama, there's gaming, it's very interesting. The language is beautiful. I love the language. The language is very engaging, and it has a lyrical quality to it at times but without being pretentious. Like it's very nice, very, very well done. I think I gave this 5 stars. Like, I really enjoyed it. I liked the plot. There was some part of the plot that I thought they had the kind of the miscommunication trope a little too much, but it was still like humans do that, so I could kind of overlook that, and it really did. The plot really moved forward in a nice pace. It was very well done, and I bawled my eyes out by the end of the book, and I really loved it. I didn't think I was going to, because I kept hearing that. Oh, this book is going to make you cry. This book is so emotional, and I was like, really? And I did end up enjoying it. And it is not fantasy. That's one thing that I read a lot of fantasy, and so it's a contemporary, and I really loved, and I really don't read a whole lot of contemporary, and I really enjoyed it. So highly recommend if you like games, if you're a gaming person, which I am. I play video games, so if you're nostalgic for the 80s, definitely a good book for you as well. A lot of 80s references, so very, very good. I enjoyed it. As I said, the drawback was that some of it seemed a little contrived. The characters are not perfect. They're flawed. They do make some bad decisions and things like that. So if that bothers you, where you have characters that you're supposed to like and they make bad decisions, it might not be the book for you. But I enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. So, and I think that is all I have. So I've read so far, I finished 2 books, and I am about to hopefully finish Ship of Magic before the end of the week, the end of the month, and Middlemarch, which I don't know if that's going to happen. It might roll into June. We'll have to see. I'm a teacher, the end of the year. I'm tired, so we'll see how far in my reading I get. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if you like what I do here, please like and subscribe so that you can keep up with everything that's going on here. And on Saturdays at 11:30 on my channel, I do a at 11:30. Yeah, I do kind of a reading sprint, so if you are interested or available at that time, please feel free to join us. I would love to have you. We just talk about our books and then what we're reading a little bit, and then we do like 20-minute intervals of reading. So I think that the more people, the merrier. So, and if you're interested in that, please join us. I would love to have you. And as always, have an adventure with reading.